Hi, welcome back to our online preparation course for the TOEFL test. In this video, we are going to continue working with the listening section, part A, short conversations. In the previous videos, we talked about how important it is to pay special attention to what the second speaker says. We also said that it is important that we know how to identify synonyms in the options that are offered in order to answer the questions. This time we are going to be focusing on something that is called similar sounds. But first of all, what are similar sounds? There can be sets of words that sound very similar. These words can be confusing when we want to answer an option in the short conversation questions. Let's look at some examples. We have a set of words, and if you notice, letter A is pit, letter B, pet, letter C, pat, letter D, put, letter E, pout, letter F, pot. They sound similar. Here we have another set of words. Hit, hot, hot, height, hate. If you notice, they sound similar too. Here we have another set of words. We have cat, caught, caught, kite, and coat. It is very important that you are able to identify similar sounds, and you have to stay away from them when you are answering the short conversations in the TOEFL test. This means the options that have similar sounds related to what the second speaker said, that one is not the answer. You should always answer the option that sounds completely different to what the speaker said. We are going to do an exercise. At the top of your screen, you have a set of words, and then you have 6 sentences. Be so kind to complete the sentences with the correct word, according to the sound and according to the context.
Appendix Exercise A1. Number 1.
He put his head on the pillow.
Number 2.
His pet rat got out of the cage.
Number 3.
The soup was cooking in a pot on the stove.
Number 4.
When the child didn't get what he wanted, he began to pout.
Number 5.
When you wash your face, you should pat it gently to dry it.
Number 6.
When he bit into a cherry, his tooth struck a pit.
Let's check our answers. Number 1, he put his head on the pillow. Number 2, his pet rat got out of the cage. Number 3, the soup was cooking in a pot on the stove. Number 4, when the child didn't get what he wanted, he began to pout. Number 5, when you wash your face, you should pat it gently to dry it. Number 6, when he bit into a cherry, his tooth struck a pit. Did you notice? The words sound very similar. That's why it's very important that you pay lots of attention to the context as well. Let's do another exercise. Again, you have a set of words at the top of your screen, and then you have 6 sentences. Listen carefully and answer the correct word in the correct gap.
Appendix Exercise A2. Number 1.
The water was too hot to enjoy.
Number 2.
He was impressed by the height of the building.
Number 3.
He hit the ball as hard as he could.
Number 4.
They lived in a grass hut near the beach.
Number 5.
The heat was too much for him.
Number 6.
He was filled with hate because of what happened.
Let's check our answers. Number 1. The water was too hot to enjoy. Number 2. He was impressed by the height of the building. Number 3. He hit the ball as hard as he could. Number 4. They live in a grass hut near the beach. Number 5. The heat was too much for him. Number 6. He was filled with hate because of what happened. Did you notice that options A and B sounds very similar? Hit, hit. Or options C and D, hot, hot. You need to pay special attention to what the speaker said, and also you need to understand the context. Remember, in the TOEFL test, you need to avoid similar sounds. Let's do the last exercise. Again, let's listen to the audio and put the word in the correct gap.
Appendix Exercise A3. Number 1.
The children were trying to fly their kite.
Number 2.
He went to sleep on a cot.
Number 3.
There is a cat stuck up in a tree.
Number 4.
Because of the cold, she decided to wear her coat.
Number 5.
He cut the sandwich in half.
Number 6.
I caught a cold last week.
Let's check our answers. Number 1. The children were trying to fly their kite. Number 2. He went to sleep on a cot. Number 3. There is a cat stuck up in a tree. Number 4. Because of the cold, she decided to wear her coat. Number 5. He cut the sandwich in half. Number 6. I caught a cold last week. Did you notice that options B, C, and D sound almost exactly the same? Caught, caught, caught. So it is important that you learn how to identify similar sounds. Remember, in short conversations in the TOEFL test, you should stay away from these sounds. You shouldn't answer any option that sounds similar to what the second speaker said. Now that we have understood what similar sounds are, let's see how they are applied in the TOEFL test. Here we have a conversation. Why couldn't Mark come with us? He was searching for a new apartment. What does the woman say about Mark? Did you notice? The second speaker said he was searching for a new apartment. The options to answer these questions are A. He was in the department office. B. He was looking for a place to live. C. He was working on his research project. D. He had an appointment at church. If you notice, the answer for this question is letter B. He was looking for a place to live. Notice that it sounds completely different to what the second speaker said. Letter A cannot be the answer because department sounds very similar to apartment. Letter C cannot be the answer because research sounds very similar to searching. Letter D cannot be the answer because appointment sounds like apartment and church sounds like searching. Remember, you should always choose the option that sounds completely different to what the second speaker said. Let's do some exercise together, and later you will have the opportunity to practice on your own in Blackbird. Here you have a short conversation. Did they get the new car they wanted? No, they lacked the money. What does the man mean? If you notice, our second speaker said, no, they lacked the money. The options to answer this question are A. They locked the map in a car. B. They looked many times in the car. C. It cost a lot of money when the car leaked oil. And D. They didn't have enough money to buy another car. Take a moment to analyze this conversation and the options. Remember, you should stay away from similar sounds. The answer for this question is letter D. They didn't have enough money to buy another car. If you notice, the option sounds completely different to what the second speaker said. Option A cannot be the answer because lacked sounds like looked. Letter B cannot be the answer because lacked sounds like looked. Letter C cannot be the answer because lacked sounds like licked. That's why the answer is the one that sounds completely different. Let's do another exercise together. You have this short conversation. Have you finished packing yet? You should call the porter to get the suitcases. What does the woman mean? If you notice, our second speaker said, you should call the porter to get the suitcases. The options to answer this question are, it's important to pack the suitcases. They need help carrying their bags. The man should pack his suit in case he needs it. And the suitcases are quite portable. Take a moment to analyze this conversation and the options, and we will check together. The answer for this question is B. They need help carrying their bags. Notice that the answer is the one that sounds completely different to what the second speaker said. Now it is your turn. Go back to the binder and you will find an exercise that you can answer on your own to practice similar sounds. See you next time.